And we are now live again. Uh, so this morning, we are doing, as you can kind of see, landfall coverage of Hurricane Melissa, which is still a Category 5 hurricane. And it is, I mean, you can see on satellite, how much closer, how close Melissa is to the coastline of Jamaica. This like southwest portion, over near like White House and Black River. Um, I'm still trying to figure out where the link to the radar is in particular for Jamaica. If that radar is not down, considering the winds that is going on with um, Hurricane Melissa, because Hurricane Melissa still has max wind speeds from the last advisory of 175. Pressure actually dropped from the last time I was live from 903 to 901. I'll have to pull up Cyclonic WX to see how much it dropped now with recon still going into the hurricane itself. Um, which I mean, I could imagine. I mean, they're still relative. Seems like from what I'm seeing with recon, it still seems to be relatively the same with the winds potentially. We'll see. Um, Still got a couple hours till the next advisory. Although do wonder if they're gonna do like a special advisory, because they do special advisories, and I can share this on so I can hear music I have. So because I have some like lo-fi music going on in my background, so I can make sure my headset's turned on. Also my voice probably sounds like I'm tired, and then also have a cold, which I'm 90% sure at this point I do have a cold, unfortunately, which sucks. Um, Positive thing though is at least my nose is I'm not having issues breathing through my nose, so there's that. That's at least a positive. Let me actually just refresh. Oh yep. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So they just released a special advisory. Um, and as of the last advisory, this is now sub 900, 896, back to staying 108. Not 108, 180. So this has actually gotten even stronger since the last time we saw Melissa from yesterday night, which is once again that is absolutely insane how much that has dropped in terms of pressure and winds. I would not be surprised if there's already some type of power. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of power outage already. Power outages in Jamaica right now, considering the winds that are coming out of this thing. Also, I was looking at the satellite for Melissa as well, and Melissa is I think is even drier than it was yesterday, which is once again that is absolutely insane. All right, let me drink some water real quick. All right, good to go. All right. We'll see if this it updates on here soon here, which it should update soon. So with the 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time update with Hurricane Melissa, the northern eye wall is approaching the southern coast of Jamaica. Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft found that most of the strengthening with maximum sustained winds of 180 mile per hour winds. Estimated minimum central pressure based on aircraft data has fallen to 896 millibars. Yeah, this is I mean, if this wasn't already historical enough, this is even more historical now, considering the pressure and winds. This is I want to say similar to Barrel, but are not Barrel. Millen from last year, because Millen had a low pressure like this last year, and also wind speeds too. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this cold water is helping a little bit right now. There are camera. I just realized there are cameras on weatherwise. The question is which ones are actually gonna be working right now, because there's one on the west side of the island over near Low London, which is actually up now. Let me do something real quick here. If I can find my OBS, maybe. All right, weatherwise, and then just gotta do a shrink, and then not really a camera that's in directly the middle of this, but this camera is like close enough. There's definitely some damage here. It looks like potentially, if that's not a the roof of a building, which there appears to be. That looks like it's some damage in there. She is huge. Yeah, she is quite a big hurricane. That is for sure, and also a powerful one too. At that. Oh wow. Okay, so I just did a refresh on the Cyclonic WX site, and Air Force 303 Mission 24, which I think is the reserve aircraft that's in there right now. It shows the extra pressure at 892 now, and they're still in that eye too. Let me go over to. Is my stream deck? My stream deck is. Why is my? Oh right, yeah. I forgot my stream deck app. I specifically told it to not turn on, because otherwise, it it's trying to, like, my laptop trying to, and of course stream deck with asking me if I want to update to the latest version. No, not right now. I'm perfectly fine on the version it's on right now. All right, let's see if this goes to the right thing here. That is not the right thing. Hold on. How about now? No, of course not. Why? No, hold on one second. Uh, there we go. I don't know why this thing likes to not go to the right tab. Because at first I went to the YouTube studio, showed YouTube Studio. I had to like manually get it over to. I had to manually get it over to cyclonic WX and all that. So that should be fixed now. Let's zoom in a little bit. We probably, I mean, this is, I mean, at this point, it is starting to get really close to making its landfall. We got probably, I would say, can I get the measuring tool out? We got about less than 20 miles till this starts officially making its landfall. So we don't have much farther to go when it comes to this thing making landfall here. It is moving a lot faster than it was last night. Moving north-northeast at 7 miles per hour. I don't know if this tool is going to work here. Because it works in on the US. It'll show locations there, but doesn't work on here for some reason. I don't know why that is. That's such a weird thing for it to not work in other countries. I don't know why that is at all. Even looking at weather-wise, I don't know. What is the wind gust that this is producing as well? Let me take a quick look at the update statement. I don't know if they mentioned that or not. Let's see. Well, they seems like they. I mean, they mainly mentioned sustained winds and pressure for the most part. They didn't mention any wind gusts that this is producing. Which maybe if they're not including it in the special update, maybe they got include it within a 10 o'clock update. Maybe that would be my guess. Because otherwise, I have no idea why that's not included in there. Although, from the last advisory, we can take a look, which was the last advisory was the intermediate from 7 o'clock, and the wind speed was 175 with 200-mile-per-hour wind gust. I do now refresh real quick of cyclonic WX. Yeah, that pressure. I mean, that pressure is like low. Where is that aircraft at? Let me take a look at, because I can see Hurricane Hunters on here. You can have only one at a time on here for some reason. I don't know why that is. Looks like they're doing a turnaround. I don't know if they're having the same thing that happened in the NOAA aircraft yesterday, where they had to turn around because there was such severe turbulence in the southwest side of the eye. That might be why they're doing that. I'm not 100% sure. Let me no, I got an idea. I probably should get a water bottle and put it in the fridge. Cause I think I like really far away from the mic. Wait, I don't know how well you can hear me. I don't know how well you guys can hear me from that far away. But yeah, just gotta put a water bottle in the fridge, make it cold. That'll probably help quite a bit. And it looks like they are exiting 105, 116. I wonder, let me go to, because Petus Plots has live recon data. I do wonder where the 896 was at. Obviously, it's going to be in the eye, but let's see here. Yeah, it's like right in the middle. That is like low pressure. I mean, that is low. All right, go back to satellite. Why is this not looping? I had it looping earlier. And then they have yesterday they had it in this portion of the Caribbean Sea at category 3, but now it's at a category 4, and this will probably make landfall as a cat 4 over in this side of Cuba. And then they have that because it's gonna be because eventually it's gonna be interacting with wind shear, so then it's gonna be going down to category 2 and then make its way up here, and then by then up here it'll be a extra tropical. So something to watch for as we go into the next couple of days, I guess. Although after, because they have this forecast for tomorrow at 1 o'clock for category 2, and then this on the 30th at 1 a.m. Obviously, the hurricane could be there before any of those times, of course. But those are like just estimated times for the forecast, basically. I do wonder what the 3D looks like on this thing. That is a flat pancake. I mean that is. I know I was saying that yesterday, but now we can get a good view of this. Yeah, that eye is getting really close at this point. Like the eye. Obviously, eye wall is starting to bear down on, or is starting to, or is already bearing down on the coast here. Don't really have any, like, well, I can't imagine if any cameras would be able to stay like alive, alive. I don't know. With stuff like this. I'm gonna go try to find the Jamaica radar if that is working. I'll have to find it on my phone because I know I could probably find it faster there. For some reason. Okay, apparently not. Okay. Actually, wait. I know there's a link in here somewhere. Because if I search up Jamaica radar, the first thing you see is AccuWeather, and that's not what I'm trying to look for here. Oh wait, I think this is it. 429, too many requests. I think everyone, yeah, this is gonna be the same thing as like yesterday with Tropical Tidbits and Cyclonic, where everyone's trying to access the site at once. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to access the radar site. So I don't think we're gonna get any radar imagery from this. We are, of course, getting satellite imagery. There is that. What if I just refresh? Nope. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work very well. If I try it on my phone. Yeah, same thing on my phone, yeah. The site is completely down for Jamaica's radar at this point, pretty much. Oh, that was the loudest, like, phone slapping my desk ever. Jesus. I swear, it's like at nighttime. It's like you drop something and it makes it like 10 times louder. Um, just saw a tweet from Jeremy Dehart, who is a hurricane hunter. Who was talking about the hurricane hunters who were in the hurricane. Well, the eye itself a little bit ago. No drops on and X Trap SLP being down at 892. Where's there? I'm like, I know I had Cyclonic WX somewhere, so I don't see any drops on data coming out of this. It looks like, although maybe it'll take a little bit to update. We'll have to see, but I would not be surprised if he had another pressure drop again. I don't know. I'm just gonna get my water bottle real quick. Still kind of warm, to be honest. So yeah, I just gotta leave my water bottle in for a little bit longer. Because for some reason, cold water is helping quite a bit compared to like I don't know what to call it, like not mild, because mild would be described like mild is something describes spice, and water is not spice. The last time I checked. It's gonna be the most random thing to hear when entering someone's stream. Oh yeah, well, water is not, water. Miles is not something to describe water. And this is so because satellite loop updates every about 10 minutes or so. I mean, you could let me pause this real quick. Like the eye is pretty much like right there. Let me actually check. We'll go from this pixel here. So yeah, still less than about 20ish miles from the coastline there. At about 20 miles. So anywhere along here, I mean, It's gonna be making landfall over in this section. Where's my drawing tool? It's gonna be making landfall over here, but either way, it got about less than 20 miles from a coastline here, or 20 miles or less than 20 miles from the coastline, and then once this starts making its way closer to coastline, the winds are probably picking up on the coast here pretty quick. I did see on Google Earth with the geography of the um area over here, which is kind of like mountainous ish area. Those winds are definitely gonna be like roaring over here because when you have wind going up mountains, your winds are increasing in strength by probably from the wording of the National Hurricane Center about 30%. If we got a 180 mile per hour hurricane right now, I can't imagine how much stronger. I can't imagine the winds going up the mountains right now. All right. Start the loop again here. Oh, there we go. There's the drops on pressure. So yeah, it did take a little bit for it to update. Which the drops on pressure was at 891.7, which is near like 892. So there's a chance within the next advisor update, which is still 10 a.m. They did a special one about half hour ago, but with the let's see, I think it's the next complete advisory at 10 a.m. The 10 a.m. advisory should update this track on here here, and we'll probably see this update again with a pressure to 892 probably. Also, there is METAR data actually on here. There's a couple stations on here, which are probably more than likely airports, because airports are typically what you're gonna see on METAR data on here. I think some of these are probably not like up to date. I don't think a couple of these are a couple hours ago, like from a couple hours ago that these are updated, and it's probably a while till these get updated, if they're gonna be updated at all. But which I doubt they will, considering the situation right now. So as of 5 a.m. on this one here in Montego Bay, wind speed 38 miles per hour, wind gust 54, which is tropical storm winds on there. Same with this one here with 33 mile ball. Yes, I think that's still technically kind of like tropical storm, like tropical depression and a tropical storm around there. This was the last time this was updated was 6 a.m. Clear skies, which kind of surprising. Definitely not clear skies now, considering the hurricanes over here. All right, I'm gonna refresh the Jamaica radar site, see if it's got load at all. I doubt it's got load, but we'll try anyways. Yeah, that's surface on it. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I had a little bit of hope considering seemed like it was loading a little bit that just a second ago, but Yeah, that does not seem like the case. It's gonna want to load at all. What pause? Voice crack. Actually, hold on. Hey, was I calculating that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Still about less than 20 miles. Still, I was like, wait a minute. I gotta keep in mind. That this is updating every 10 minutes. So it's gonna be a little bit off of what I'm looking at. Also, the drop zone itself with the pressure, it ties with the Labor Day 1935 hurricane. Let me get my water bottle. Should be a little bit colder now. Yeah, that's perfectly cold now, or at least cold enough. All right, yeah, that's actually the thing that's actually helping my the dry throat situation now. I am kind of curious. Let me go to Satellite 2. Satellite 2? Ah, yes, the sequel to the Satellite, Satellite 2. Um, oh wow, yeah. So from earlier at looks like 11:15 Z, Satellite was getting negative 2.97 Celsius with dew points um in the eye of Melissa, which is insane. And looking at it now, there's a jump in satellite data. Or is that the position? Oh no, it's just position change. So right now, the eye is still really dry. 896 millibar pressure. Yeah, this has got to be the driest I've ever seen for a hurricane, man. Wonder if I can current storms. What has the sea surface temperature graphic has not changed at all? Don't know if it. No, I can't imagine it's got updated at all. To be honest, considering everything is right now covered over by a hurricane. Well, it will be interesting what those temperatures are gonna be looking like after Melissa's out of here. We also should see because the last time satellite update was 8:30 loop here. Bro, what is happening outside? Sounds like someone's like moving a entire like boulder or some. And the first thing I see on Twitter when I refresh is an armadillo, two armadillo pictures by WX or. Let me pull up on. Cause I know Bryce Shaw there is there. I don't know who else. And there's hurricane conditions going on right now. Although this, it's definitely seems like it's on the more tropical side of things when it comes to the winds. I am kind of curious. Because on Radar Omega, you can see if you put current wind field, you can see how far out the winds expand out. And yeah, those tropical storm winds expand out quite a bit. And then obviously you have your stronger winds near the eye itself. Um, Man, why is I swear sometimes different like certain times feel like they're farther than they actually are. Oh, I stretch. Oh. All right. I don't think that actually helped to be honest with my but my just my entire neck here with stretching to be honest. The lighting still does not work on here for some reason. Although I might have to go do this here. Yeah, there we go. There's a lighting flash density count. So you can see as you go through time, yeah, a lot of lightning. Group density. Yeah, even on the group density. I feel like it should show perfectly fine though on everything else. And here's the water vapor imagery. Very dry, as you can tell in the lower levels. Dry air, honestly, dry air in the first place when it comes to this hurricane is not really an issue. The only issue this thing is really got to run into is wind shear. That's really I can only think about when it comes to anything that is going to slow this thing down in terms of strength. Which I want to take a look at the Sims tropical cyclone site, see what the wind shear looks like now. Which this northern half is starting to get into more of that red area where the higher wind shear is at. This southern half though is not really being affected by it too much. And middle wind shear is pretty low. We could also go to what does visible look like on here? This is what visible looks like on here. We could go over. I want to go over to Tropical Tidbits because Tropical Tidbits has. Where is it? Well, I imagine Cyclonic would have the same, but no. Well, actually, wait. No. Okay. Yeah. So we have to go over Tropical Tidbits because I know Tropical Tidbits has the true color for satellite imagery. I don't know why Cyclonic doesn't have it, but all right. So here is Tropical Tidbits. This is the true color satellite. So as you can see, I mean, this is like the early morning hours, and then as we go through the morning, you can see it like start to pop up with all the color, like the true color basically from satellite. Yeah, that is really close to the coastline there. All right, we'll go back over to LWIR on Radar Omega, and then we'll start the loop again. Actually, I want to pause it real quick. Be at let me tab through this previous satellite. I want to say scans, I guess. Yeah, you can definitely tell. This is 8:30. This is 8:40, 8:20, 8 o'clock. Which I started seeing like when I woke up this morning. It was like around here, which was around 7:30, and then now as it is almost 8:50 now, it is much closer to this portion here of Jamaica. Excuse me. That was a bit of burp there. Ow. Let's see if we. Well, the next satellite scan should come in the next couple of minutes here, so we can see how much. Because at this point, we're watching in to see uh the eye itself start to make that landfall. The eye wall is starting to make its approach here, like this portion here. Uh, pause, damn it. Like obviously this section here, this section around is making it close, but then we're just waiting to see what this will, when this will start approaching, and then obviously the eye, which should be within the next hour or so. So let's see if we have our next satellite scan in here. Actually, I just realized something too. I can actually turn on new audible alert. So a sound will play when a new satellite scan arrives. But we'll see if that works or not, because sometimes Radar Omega's alert sounds don't work. Sometimes. Oh no, they do work. Okay. Seems like with the the UI update they did, seems like the alert sounds are working properly this time. Because sometimes they don't work, especially with like severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings when there's severe weather going on. Because for severe thunderstorm warnings on Radar Omega, it goes and then tornado warnings hits. And with the when before they did update it would do that like super late, or it would like play it multiple times for no reason. Well, I think I've seen it recently where that happens, where it'll like flash the alerts like even though it's already issued and it did already. I don't know, it's really weird. I was gonna say I don't think we're gonna have another update before 10 a.m. I want to turn back on. Not that. Where is Marine Tools? There. I know there's not really any buoys that are. I mean, there's buoys that are kind of nearby, but they're not really near the hurricane. There are tide forecast points though, which I don't know if these are going to show anything live compared to tide predictions. Which seems to be the case that those are just tide predictions rather than like live data. Actually, hold on, let me do a double check real quick here. Yeah, it's pretty much just tide predictions compared to live data. Also, looks like Bryce is how far? Hold on, let me pause this. If I can tab back onto Radar Omega, about 30ish miles from the eye. So it's gonna be near the eye, but not directly in the like the eye area. Also, I don't know how many of you have seen from the Hurricane aircrafts from yesterday, where with the eye Melissa, which I mean it was just giant. It looked like a literal bowl. I mean, there's a reason why they call it the stadium effect, but I mean, it literally looked like a bowl. One second. All right, I'm back. Move this a little bit. All right, the next scan for satellite should come on in a moment here as well. I want to see. Let me refresh recon data again here. Looks like the other aircraft is also now in Melissa as well. getting data, and it looks like the extra pressure is also at 892. So looks like we have had definitely another pressure drop with Melissa. So even it's still strengthening as it's still over the waters here. It's probably gonna have I mean it's gonna be weakening once it gets over land, but for the most part, this is you can see the eye starting to approach even closer to the southern southwest coast of Jamaica now. So we are getting to the point now that this should be making landfall. I would say probably within the next half hour ish. National Hurricane Center issues tropical cyclone update. So it looks like they have released the update early. Oh my god, yeah. So winds are even stronger. 185 max sustain now. Minimum pressure is 892. So this has gotten even stronger in terms of wind speed and even pressure. This is, I mean, besides, I know I've alluded to Millen before during the stream, but I think this is around the pressure and wind speeds that Milton's gone down to before. This hasn't updated quite yet on here. What if I hold on? Let me try some. I doubt it'll change much. Yeah. Because it has to be. I'm guessing the complete advisory for it to completely update. All right, so with the update statement that they released too, this is extremely dangerous, life-threatening situation. Take cover now, and failure to take shelter in shelters, etiquettely shelter, and it could result in serious injury, loss of life. Residents of Jamaica should not leave their shelter as winds will rapidly increase within the backside of the eye wall. To protect yourself from wind, the best thing you can do is put as many walls between yourself and the outside. Share your room without windows. So it's basically what you want to do is basically do what you would do in kind of like a tornado, I guess you could say, because when you're in your tornado warning and there's tornado on the ground, you want to get away from windows. Go to the lowest part of building your home, most secure part of building your home. If you don't have a basement. Next update will be Friday within a full advisory package at 11 a.m. EDT. So still, the next advisory still be released at 10 a.m. Still looks like. Even a wording on the Twitter post that the National Hurricane Center put on their post here with catastrophic winds moving onshore to southern Jamaica and last chance to protect your life, which I'm not gonna lie, that is some. I am not gonna lie, that is some scary wording there, which makes sense for this situation, but I don't know if you really see that kind of wording every day, or well, obviously you don't see it every day, but I don't know how often you really are gonna see that kind of wording with hurricanes. And someone, Sakai Chandra, if that's how you pronounce his name. Third strongest Atlantic hurricane ever, tied for strongest Atlantic landfall ever. We have data going back to 1851. If it does not drop any further, first sub 900 Atlantic landfall in 95 years. 95. Not to mention, the storm obliterated the water vapor eye dryness record, taking it to a stunning negative 2.34 Celsius. The previous all-time record was 5, negative 5. Take a look at the visible satellite. And just looking at visible satellite, you can see. Hold on, let me turn off these real quick. You can kind of see it's a little bit pixelated, but you can see kind of down into the hurricane itself, and I mean that is insane. Our new satellite scan just came on in. Wonder how much closer or updated travel tidbits is compared to satellite, because I think, yeah, 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, so 10 minutes is basically the same on both. I was gonna say because 10 minutes feels like I feel like I was seeing a little bit different image framing on travel tidbits, but no, it's basically the same. Oh wow. Um, Looking at a graphic that James Peters made and actually lastly uploaded onto Twitter, 882 Wilma, 888 Gilbert, 892 Labor Day, and Melissa being also 892. Rita was 895, so was Milton. So this is so the pressure is even lower, like 3 millibars lower than what Milton was at. And see, let me look at what Hurricane Milton was at in terms of wind speeds. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. Let's see here. 180. So Melissa's like slightly stronger compared to Milton, basically. That is insane. I want to take a look at what the specifics for Gilbert and Wilma was. So, looking at Gilbert and Wilma, they I can see what I can find. Highest winds for both of those were also 185. Of course, the pressure for both those were much lower than Melissa, but Melissa is the third strongest hurricane. That we have that we have had in the Atlantic side of things. The eye wall is pretty much the eye and eye wall are basically at this point making that landfall. Yeah, I tried again to get to the Jamaica radar. Yeah, that site's just I'm not even gonna try getting to that site at this point, to be honest. Not really at any point in trying to load a site that's being overwhelmed with people right now. And also another fact too, the servers are probably being affected, likely affected by Hurricane Melissa now too. Yeah, I think it was definitely a good idea to put on the alert sound for satellite update alert sounds on here, so then we could see. So I know when the next frames are going, and then also so I can kind of zoom in to see where the position is of that eye. Which right now we can tell. I mean, how close it is right now to the coast here. Strongest winds are gonna be strongest winds are gonna be likely in here on this side here. We also got the backside that we're gonna also get there's also gonna be things to worry about on the backside too, because you got the one side of the eye wall that has strong winds, but then it gets calmer in the eye, but then that backside is has sometimes even stronger winds than the one side over here sometimes. All right, there we go. There is the next satellite update here. All right, so yeah, we are much closer by probably at least a couple miles here with where the eye is positioned at going into Jamaica. Water. All right, so we got about once it gets to 9:30, we'll then have half hour till the full update comes out for Hurricane Melissa because they did a position update with a update statement, which you could see as of last advisory at the bottom right there. That was the last of last advisory, so to speak. It's like an early 10 a.m. update, basically. Also, I just realized too. Let me go over to. Wait, do I already have tropical tidbits up? I do. Okay. Because one thing I just realized with tropical tidbits, if I go to, I think it was 18Z with the. I don't know if it was HAFS with it dropping pressure to around like, or yeah. So at 18Z, go back to that. Which it at 18Z, the HAFSA had this thing at 898, but that was when it was still off the coast of Jamaica, or like way off the coast. Let me go over to the mile real quick so we can kind of compare, and then make it making landfall as a 905 millibar, and we go to 0006Z, which is about 6 hours ago. It had this thing at 887 and making landfalls 897, which in reality with Melissa it's at 892. So it's 5 millibars lower in pressure. I wonder what the 8B version of this shows. Yeah, much higher than what we have right now. Yeah, much higher than what we have right now. And then we got the HMON, which I think it was the HMON I thought was probably the closest to what we have right now. I don't think it was the HMON actually, maybe. Try to figure out what model I was looking at yesterday. Much unless it was HWRF. Might have been HWRF. Looking at some of the models, I don't know which model was the closest that, or at least had 892 on it. But a lot of the models generally had the idea where this drops pressure like even further. but a lot of the models I don't think accounted for how long this thing would stay intensified for. I had like two voice cracks during that. I wanted to take a look at like one of the songs here. Kind of curious what the wind speeds are, or well, at least the wind gusts to be specific. If I could find those, which saw one that has like 188 knots and the lowest 150 meters, which is like 200 something miles per hour with wind gusts. Yeah. All right. So I was seeing some people talk about the drop zone that was well dropped in the southeast part of Melissa's eyeball and mean winds. So average winds with lowest 150 meters with 188 knots, which is 260 mile per hour winds with gusts upwards of 252 miles per hour winds. So this is like almost like three like well, at least with the wind gust, at least with being almost like 300 mile per hour wind gust, and the winds itself almost being like 250. Let's wait for the next scan to come on in. All right, we should be getting our next satellite scan in a minute here, so we can see once again. Just trying to see what the position of the where the eye is at All right, there we go. Next scan just came on in. So once this loop, I, why? Okay, why is this tabbed on Firefox? It's not where I need it. Can this? Okay, I'm fighting with Radar Omega. So yeah, it's. I mean, seems like it's going. It's took a northeast turn and then looks like it's going straight north now compared to northeast. So once this is gonna be making landfall basically straight in this section here. Looks like obviously the outer areas here are gonna be having like really strong wind gusts with the eye. Eye wall to be specific, but water vapor. So eye is becoming less dry, which is likely just due to land interaction at this point. As it, I mean, it's making its way into land, so it is gonna become uh more moist compared to dry. It's also gonna start losing its strength with wind speeds and whatnot. I gotta remember I have something going. I have something to go to at 11. Apparently, there's a camera over in Treasure Beach, and you can see none on that camera. It is really windy too. Now let me see if. Nope, I did not want to click that. All right, let me do a this. Oh my! I'm so glad that did not have audio. Holy! I don't know if actually I don't even know if the audio is picked up on that. on the stream. No, hold on. Go over to this, and then if I can find it. All right, and then audio capture. All right, this is. Oh, I think the camera just went down. But yeah, this is what it sounds like right now on this camera. That's how intense the winds are. There we go. Okay, yeah, so it's working properly. That is how intense the winds are. Okay, now it's buffering again. This might actually be... This camera might have just went down. There's definitely a chance this went down. If you guys want to... if I can find my stream chat. If you guys want to check out that camera, you guys can go to that. Because that is where that camera is located. On YouTube there. Let me go back to weather news real quick. And then I close out that. And then we'll go back to hurricane coverage. That is absolutely insane with just the wind just roaring through that camera's microphone. I mean, it's absolutely insane. That's not the right thing. Actually, we'll go back to it. We'll go back to it. Oh, this is... if I don't speak here. You guys can hear the wind roaring. I mean, that is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. And, of course, I get scam calls calling me as per usual. I swear, I get like 2 of them per day. Alright, there we go. That should be, that is now taken care of. With, that scam call number. And it shows as toll free, too. As for... robocalls will spoof numbers like no tomorrow. Just to call literally everybody. Also, another thing to know too, Melissa has not had like your classic eyewall replacement cycle too. It's done mergers, but not a full-on eyewall replacement cycle. And it's held its Category 5 status for a while, too. Also, we got about 20-ish minutes, so we got the full update for Melissa from the Hurricane Center. I did see a notification from the IEM bot, but it's advisory on Sonia, which is expected to become a remnant low compared to continuing to be a tropical storm at this point. All right, there we go. There's the new satellite scan. You can see it's like it's moving. Basically due north to this point, going towards places like White House and Belmont at this point. Now, let me turn down the frames to like 7, I guess, because then it's not going so far back. I want to reopen that. I'm gonna see if that Turtle Beach camera. Oh yeah, that Turtle Beach camera is still going. Wonder if the oh yeah, okay, the METAR data is updating. The one over here still hasn't updated since 5 in the morning. This one updated an hour, well, more than an hour ago, but so looking at the recon, it looks like the next flights are probably be sometime tonight, probably, or well, one tonight and then one tomorrow. Well, wait, this is 11 OZ. Oh, oh, hiccups, man. All right. So, yeah, so tomorrow morning, actually, tomorrow morning and shows this morning and tomorrow morning. Wonder what the. Let me go over to visible. I'm kind of curious just to see what that looks like. Yeah, that is if this decides wants to load properly. Which does not seem like that's going to be the case of it wanting to load properly, so we're just going to stick to LWIR for now. I may have to look at Cyclonic WX for that. Alright, so here is the visible satellite. And you can see, if you zoom in a little bit more here, you can see right in the middle there, got some, well, obviously your eye, but you got mesovorices in there. What the hell? I don't think that, okay. That was a weird, that was a weird bug. I don't think I've seen that with radar on Radar Omega, but I don't think I've seen it on satellite before. Also on that live stream I was showing a bit ago, there's a tree that I'm seeing that has its roots pulled out from the wind. So far, everything else has been standing pretty sturdily. Alright, new satellite scan just came on in. And pause that. Yeah, that is getting much closer. So we should start seeing winds continuing to ramp up. They are also not too far off from getting the full update soon here from the National Hurricane Center on Hurricane Melissa. And there we go. I just saw the Twitter post from the National Hurricane Center on Melissa. Haven't seen anything update on his site yet, so we'll have to give it some time for that update to update on his site. Let's refresh. All right, there we go. Full advisory is out. It's taking a little bit to load. There we go. All right, so as we know, maximum sustained winds 185, minimum central pressure 892. Hurricane force winds extend to hour of 30 miles. 9 to 13 feet above ground level for the south coast of Jamaica. 8 to 12 feet above tide level, normal tide levels over in the coast of Cuba later tonight, potentially. And storm surge of 5 to 8 feet above normally dry ground is possible in the southeastern Bahamas on Wednesday. 2 to 4 feet above normally dry ground in Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. Minor coastal flooding expected along the coast of Haiti. Swells generated by Melissa are expected to affect portions of Hispaniola, Jamaica, eastern Cuba, and Cayman Islands during the next day or two. See if what they have in terms of wind gusts. If I could find it in here, maybe. Just waiting for this to update as well. Because Radar Omega hasn't updated this yet, so it's probably, well, I mean, the stuff, the information alert just came out. The full thing just came out, so. Moving north-northeast at 9 miles per hour compared to 7 miles per hour from the last advisory. Let me see what the forecast advisory shows. Maximum sustained winds 160 knots with gusts to 190, which is 218 mile per hour winds with wind gusts. So we have 185 mile per hour winds with 200 and 200 plus to our 210 plus mile per hour wind gusts. Well, the Jamaica radar site's working, but it's doing the same thing that I've seen it do before, where it's like broken on my side for some reason. I don't know why. Like this is hold on. So this is the Jamaica radar site, and I'm not sure how why it's this broken. It's I've seen it do this yesterday, so we aren't gonna get a image, well radar imagery of well the eye of Melissa. All right, there we go, and it's updated here on Radar Omega now. So minimum pressure 892, wind speed 185, max gust 220. And then the forecast for when it gets over Jamaica and then it is over here heading towards Cuba. Max wind speed 150, max gust 185. Which we'll have to see how much land interaction does start affecting Melissa. Because land interaction and wind shear are two things. Mainly wind shear is the most common when it comes to hurricanes weakening, but or tropical systems in general. But land is also another thing that can affect hurricanes as well. How much it will affect Melissa will have to be seen. See what they changed for the. So here is the rainfall forecast, 2 day additional rainfall forecast. 20 inches possible locally here. Or not 20. Well, actually, no, 20 inches because it's 16 to 20 here. And then you got 20 to 30 here in this portion of Jamaica. So either way, between these areas, between Jamaica and the south side of Cuba, or southeastern portion of Cuba, I don't know if that's quite like South Cuba, but a lot of rainfall possible that cause flooding and landslides. Also, next satellite scan just came on in. The eye is slowly making its way onto land here, at least the northern side. Wind advisories over in Texas looks like as well. Also, I'm continuing to look at the camera that's over in not Turtle Beach, Treasure Beach. Also, that telephone pole that I'm seeing on the Treasure Beach camera in Jamaica there, that pole is standing still. And that Treasure Beach camera is buffering again. Well, let me just put this. Also, it does look like I mean, in order for there to be connection for the stream, uh, they're using Starlink. But seems like it's been, I mean, other than a couple times where it buffers are like lag or drops, basically, it seems to be holding pretty well, relatively well, for the most part. Yeah, I feel like that wind's starting to pick up more and more as the eye is starting to get in here. Bear back, everybody. Let the loop keep going. All right. Back. All right, next satellite scan should be coming in here soon. Here. All right, 1 second. All right. So we did have the next satellite scan come on in. This I mean it's even closer to the shore here. Also with how I mean it's moving at 7 miles per hour to the north northeast, but this probably the backside of the hurricane itself will probably be moving over probably I would say probably half hour ish. So watching that pull on a Treasure Beach camera, it is still not moved at all. Where is Treasure Beach in Jamaica, anyways? Let me see here. Actually, I probably can just search it up here. Yeah, so this could be on this side of the hurricane here. So I probably, I mean, they're getting some strong winds. Probably not the full force, is what I would guess. All right, should get the next scan in the next couple minutes here. See how much the eye has progressed northward here. Here's a 3D view. We haven't. I don't think we've really looked. I don't think we've really looked at the 3D view at all today. But here's what the 3D view looks like. It Melissa still looks like a pancake, even from yesterday, where I was looking at like that too. Definitely your like kind of like classic buzzsaw look still. It's probably gonna look like this for a while too. So gonna have to wait and see what land will do, because land interaction does make hurricanes weaker. How much weaker it'll be, we'll have to watch. Because the next forecast point that they have is Category 4, once it makes it into this portion over here of the Caribbean Sea. And then as it makes its way northeast, they do have this. Should probably be somewhere, depending on how like strong this stays and how together this stays. This could be probably category making landfall as category 4 or at least high end cat 3 in Cuba. Satellite, yeah, satellite's behind a little bit. All right, there we go. Updated. So, yeah, it's. I mean, make its way. Doesn't seem like it's moved a ton over the past 10 minutes, but it is moving. Ow. I'm gonna close. Ow. I'm gonna close out that camera for now. Seeing post from NATO Cast, because I have NATO Cast notifications on, which the NATO Cast has some tornado probabilities between Texas and Louisiana. I don't think they have it anything outlined for tornadoes. If I can click on this, maybe that'd be great. Oh wait, no, they do 2% that they have outlined, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't have that outlined in the first place. Wind and hail, it's low, um, low end, like low end threat day looks like, and then day 2 general thunderstorms and day 3 as well. Probably take a look at the hydrologic outlooks, which is usually for sets of outlooks, sets of rainfall. Got one on day 2 and day 3. Day 3 has it specifically over here, and then it expands more, and then day 5 nothing. time is it? Almost like 10:30. So I'm got to leave in like 20-ish minutes or so. Because there's a thing I gotta go to at 11, and then I have a class after that. And there, of course, there's a bunch of stuff I gotta work, a bunch of stuff I gotta work on as well. I just realized. Uh, so much stuff to do as well. There's just quite a bit of stuff to do actually. Yeah, just now to wait for the satellite loop to update here. Because this thing will probably, because the eye itself will probably fully be inland, probably around, probably around 11 o'clock, if anything. Right. Satellite has. Oh, never mind. As soon as I was gonna say something, it just updated. It quite literally just updated. It'd probably be. I mean, once it's the eye like right here is probably the calmest portion here. And we still got probably some gustier winds alongside and there. I'm kind of curious what the current wind field looks like right now. That's what the current wind field looks like, at least from the last advisory update. Obviously, tropical storm winds are way out there. Ow. um, two flood warnings apparent. Where are those? Oh, they're in Florida. So, Josh Morgerman is 10:25 a.m. Frightening power, whiteout, roof teeing off, gusting like bombs going off, painful ears. Praise the Lord for solid concrete, 962 millibars. Also, the Hurricane Hunters put out a message, it looks like, on Twitter. A 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron crew, call sign Teal 75, known as the Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunters, is returning to its forward operating location, Curacao, after encountering heavy turbulence today while entering Melissa Category 5 storm. During the event, the aircraft briefly experienced forces stronger than normal due to turbulence. While this does not automatically indicate damage, standard safety procedures require an inspection before returning to operations. The 53rd WRS is an aircraft force reserve unit assigned to the 403rd Wing, Kelsier Air Force Base. Miss. What's on my screen? There's a hair on my screen. Alright, should be getting the next satellite loop, satellite update in a second here. Hopefully. So we can see how much more in terms of progress that the eye has made towards the north. Because it's making its landfall between Crawford and probably somewhere near Ferris Cross. And there's the satellite loop update. So it's starting to move over White House, notch down, and it's eventually gonna be over Bluefields and Belmont. Also, I just saw a post from the foliage report. Yeah, that foliage is starting to come on in. Good portion of the like northern half of the U.S. is past peak and is either high color or higher than that with peak color or past peak. Now, once the next satellite loop comes on in, um, it should be this eye should be over at least this somewhere near this portion. Still gonna be really gusty winds anywhere near the eye though. Also, the eye is a little is like kind of west of the the forecast track like line. I do have to go in like a few minutes or so here though, unfortunately, so I can't cover the whole time. There are others who are live right now, like TRG Tornado. I know Ryan Hall and Max are live as well. Um, I will say this is definitely not a good situation right now in Jamaica. Still got about 4 minutes till the next satellite scan comes on in. Because usually the satellite scan comes in like a minute after uh, it hits the 10-minute mark. Alright, still got another couple minutes till the next game comes on in, and we'll see how much further. Because at this point, we're watching to see how long it's taking the eye to fully get onto land. It has pretty much technically made landfall at this point. All right, the next satellite loop should be coming in a minute here, and then I unfortunately do have to go. All right, should be coming in now with the satellite loop, hopefully. Seems like it's taking a moment. I'm on load. All right, there we go. As soon as I walk away, it decides it wants to update. Great. All right, yeah. So it's moved up more north. Shit down in White House are now pretty much. I mean, they're gonna be on the eastern side of the eye, but they're pretty much. They're. I mean, it should still be. I mean, it's still gonna be gusty, probably, but probably not as gusty as it could be with the northern half of this eye wall here. So, but yeah, anyways, I gotta go. Unfortunately, if you're in Jamaica, stay safe, and also if Cuba, stay safe either through tonight or tomorrow morning, as Melissa is making its way towards this portion of Cuba, and then eventually this Melissa will be making its way towards the Caicos Islands and even the Bahama Islands. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next stream I do, and stay safe out there.